are going to work out some example problems on sampling in statistics. I'm Dr. Nandi and I frequently lecture on different topics in statistics. I also have a YouTube channel. If you please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button, I would appreciate that. I have solved all kinds of problems in math, including statistics. I have also lectured on statistics topics. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the red subscribe button. So today the problem we are going to work on, okay, hair samples from participants were studied for mercury levels. There, these samples were obtained from more than 6,000 people. Who voluntarily, means without any force, they on their own, who voluntarily sent hair samples to researchers. The researchers found that nearly one-third of those tested had mercury levels that exceeded safe contamination level. Let me write it down. Level, LEV. Is it reasonable to generalize the results to the larger population of US adults? Population of all US adults. So let me read the problem again. Hair samples from participants were studied for mercury levels. Mercury, is a bad player. These samples were obtained from more than 6,000 people who voluntarily sent hair samples to researchers. The researchers found that nearly one-third of those tested had mercury levels that exceeded safe contamination level. The question is it reasonable to generalize the results to larger population of all US adults? Okay, and the answer, what did you guess? Will it be okay to generalize? Yes or no? The correct answer is no, because the people who send their hair samples for testing did it voluntarily. As I explained before, voluntarily means they did it out of their own will. Nobody forced them to do it. It is quite possible that mercury levels in the hair of these people differ from mercury levels in the hair of general population. In other words, this is an observational study. It is very difficult or not recommended at all to conclude the results of an observational study, generalize it to the population, because this is not a controlled experimental study. These people send their hair out of their own will. They are not forced to do so. It's quite possible the mercury level in the hairs of those people that send their samples are quite different from the mercury levels in the population. So this is an observational study. It's not an experimental study. And the bottom line is we cannot generalize the results of an observational study to the big population in general. Okay, so let's go to the other side of the board and work on another problem. Any questions, shoot me a comment and I'll get back to each one of your inquiries. Okay, so let's do work on another problem. So I'll turn the board. And we will work on another problem. The problem, this is not so good. the financial aid advisor of a university plans to use a stratified random sample to estimate the average amount of money of money the students spend on textbooks. Okay. Question is it worthwhile to stratify the students in the following manner? And there are 3 parts. So before I get started, I want to remind you stratified random sampling is when I divide the population into strata. Strata is plural of stratum, means groups. You divide the population into strata based on certain characteristics. Each strata is homogeneous. In other words, the characteristics of the members of each strata are similar. Okay. So the first one is the university administrator, the financial advisor divides the students into 4 strata. These are freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior. Is it worthwhile to stratify the students in the following manner? These are 4 strata or groups with homogeneous character. What do I mean by that? You all know freshman students are students who have less than 30 credits completed. Similarly, sophomore are the students who have less than 60 credits completed. Juniors are students who have less than 90 credits completed, and seniors are students who have less than 120 credits completed. So senior is like between 90 and 120. Similarly, junior is from 60 to 90 and so forth. Okay. So the answer for this is yes, because similar characteristics of students, similar characteristics in each group, in each strata, that is freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. As I told you, freshmen who have completed less than 30, Sophomore is between 30 and 60 credits completed. Junior is between 60 and 90 credits, and senior is from 90 to 120 credits. It's possible to divide the students into strata because each strata are similar in characteristic and they will spend similar amounts. Each strata, students in each strata hopefully will spend similar amounts in textbooks. Okay. Part B. So this is one way of stratifying the students or dividing them into groups for this study. The other is divide students into strata using fields of study. As you know, strata is the plural of the word stratum, which means group. Using fields of study. Such as engineering, business, liberal arts, etc. So basically you are dividing the student based on their proposed majors. Some of the proposed majors could be engineering, business, liberal arts, etc. So is it feasible or is it advisable to divide the students into this type of strata for this proposed study to find out how much on the average students spend in for textbook? Okay. So the answer for this is yes, because students in a field of study tend to spend similar amounts for textbook. What does it mean? It means on the average people who have different majors such as business, okay, all business students tend to spend similar amount in purchasing textbooks. Similarly, all students in liberal arts major, they tend to spend certain amount in for textbooks. So it is that you could think of dividing the student into strata based on their field of study because these strata, each strata are similar in characteristic inside themselves, okay, and they tend to, each student in each strata tend to spend similar amount of money on textbooks, okay. Then part C. Part C asks strata. This time the students are divided into strata corresponding to the first letter of their last names. Such as A through E. One strata are student with last names beginning with letters A through E. The next one could be F through K, etc. Will it be advisable to divide the students into strata based on their last name? One strata could be student whose last name begin with between A and K. Last names begin with A and last names begin with K. A through K is one strata. Then the next strata is A through E, sorry. The next strata is F through K. Is it advisable? Answer. Stratification or dividing the students into strata in this way, will most likely not produce groups or strata which are groups that are homogeneous in nature, that are homogeneous in nature, in terms of student spending on textbooks. Why, you ask me? Think about it for a minute. You are dividing the students based on their last name. For example, A through E is one strata. Then F through K, that means students whose last name begin with A and up until E is the first strata. Then the next strata is F through K, spending on textbooks. Why would these groups not be homogeneous? One quick way of thinking could be that A through E, there may be students who are business majors, who are engineering majors, some are liberal arts major. So in this case, these groups are not homogeneous and they will spend different amounts on the textbook. Whereas the first two, where you divide the students into their academic standing, freshmen, sophomore, junior, senior, each strata is homogeneous, and it can be thought that each strata, students in each strata will spend similar amounts in textbook. The second one, in which you divided the student into strata based on their fields of study, such as engineering, business, liberal arts, this is also okay because you think students in each strata or in each field of study will spend similar amounts in textbook. See, your whole idea in dividing the students into strata or groups is to form homogeneous groups, that is groups which have similar characteristic inside each strata, and you want to find out on the average how far the students in or how much the students in each strata spend on textbook. The last one based on last name is not good because you are not providing homogeneous characteristic in each strata, because you mixed up their fields of study, you mixed up their academic standing, and you will not get good idea of how much on the average they spend on textbooks. Okay, so I will stop here today. If you have any question, any comment, write me a note. I appreciate that. I really appreciate it because I'm looking for some feedback. If you have question, I will answer your question. If you like this video, please give me thumbs up and please share with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button And please do not forget to click on the notify bell button. You will be notified on your phone every time I upload a new video, which I do quite often. So I appreciate the fact that you took time from your busy schedule to watch my video, and please do not forget to check me out tomorrow too. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.